Welcome to Imagination!
This video is about imagination. There are no visual special effects, but we do use sound effects to help you visualize the story. Just close your eyes and let your imagination run wild.
The Power of Bravery.
There once was a brave knight named Sir Gallahad. He was the epitome of courage and valor in his time, fighting dragons and rescuing maidens. He was not the kind of knight you would expect to find in a science fiction story. But one day, a wizened wizard named Maximus gave him a mission. Maximus was famous for his time-traveling spells but had never tested them on humans. He asked Galahad to volunteer, to which Galahad agreed to. Maximus carried out a grand spell, and in a whirl of light and color, Galahad disappeared. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in an entirely different world. It was nothing like he had ever seen before. He was standing in a city with tall silver towers reaching for the sky. The air was filled with strange noises, and sleek flying machines zoomed around him. People wore suits of bright colors that were nothing like his medieval armor. Despite the change, Galahad decided to embark on his mission. Armed with his trusty sword and shield, he ventured into this future world. He encountered various aliens and otherworldly creatures, but he never lost his courage. One day, he found himself in the midst of a raging battle. The city was under attack by a fearsome race of aliens. He could not stand idly by. He grabbed his sword and charged into the fight, fighting with as much valor as he had against dragons. Despite his bravery, his medieval weapons were ineffective against the futuristic armor of the aliens. He was knocked down, and in the blink of an eye, he found himself captured. His bravery seemed misplaced in the face of advanced weapons and technology. In the alien spaceship, he found himself with other captives from the city. They were scared and worried, but seeing Galahad's courage, they found hope. Despite the situation, Galahad kept his spirits high and planned an escape. He realized that though his sword couldn't penetrate the alien's armor, it could still be used to create a distraction. When the time was right, he created a commotion, allowing the captives to overpower the guards and escape. In the chaos, Galahad managed to grab one of the alien weapons. His accurate aim and quick reflexes came in handy, and he cleared a path for the other captives. Together, they made their way back to the city, where they were hailed as heroes. Despite his victory, Galahad knew that he didn't belong in this future. The people, the environment, the lifestyle was all too strange for him. He longed for his old life, his dragons, his castle. He missed the simplicity of his world. He decided to seek out a way to return to his time. After some research, he discovered a group of scientists who were studying time travel. They were shocked to meet a real knight but agreed to help him. The scientists worked tirelessly, using their advanced technology and Galahad's accounts of Maximus' spell. After several trials and errors, they were able to replicate the spell. And so, once again, Galahad found himself enveloped in a whirl of lights. He opened his eyes to the familiar sight of his castle. He was back in his own time, back to his familiar world. The sounds of cheering crowds and the sight of his fellow knights filled him with joy. The journey had changed him. He now saw his world in a new light. He appreciated the simplicity, the peace, and even the dragons. While the future was fascinating, this was where he belonged. Sir Gallahad resumed his old duties with newfound vigor. His stories of the future became legends in his time. And though he was offered many more opportunities to time travel, he always declined. He had seen the future and was content with his present. His adventure to the future proved to him that bravery was not just about fighting dragons or rescuing maidens. Bravery was also about embracing change, adapting, and standing up to fear, no matter the circumstances. Knight Galahad passed on his lessons to the younger knights. He taught them not just to swing their swords, but also to be brave, kind, and willing to adapt. His stories of time travel continued to inspire the knights of his time. As an old knight, he would often sit by the fireplace, recounting his adventures to wide-eyed young squires. The tales of the brave knight who fought aliens and escaped from spaceships became part of the castle's folklore. Thus, the knight's legacy lived on. Even in his old age, his fiery spirit remained, inspiring everyone who heard his stories. And though he never visited the future again, he always remembered it fondly, as a grand adventure that showed him the limits of his own bravery. Sir Gallahad, the time-traveling knight, thus became a legend in his own time and the future. His stories of bravery, courage, and adaptation still echo through the ages, inspiring people to face their fears, embrace change, and never lose their courage. And so, Sir Galahad's tale is more than just a knight's adventure in time. It is a lesson about bravery, adaptivity, and facing the uncertainty of the future. It is a reminder that no matter where or when we are, we can always find a way to be brave. It serves as a symbol that change is inevitable, but we must embrace it with courage and determination. It is a message that no matter what era we live in, the traits of bravery, honor, and loyalty remain timeless. Even as we venture into the future, we must remember Sir Galahad's story and keep our courage intact. Because in any time, in any world, bravery will always be the key to overcoming challenges. And our story, just like Sir Galahad's, can inspire future generations. So, while the brave knight may have rested, his story and his legacy live on in the hearts of those who hear his tales. They teach us that no matter how advanced technology gets or how much the world changes, one thing remains the same: the power of bravery.
The end.